Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Prophet West, Brother West, your friend, your brother in the Lord, um, your co-worker, your laborer with Christ, coming to you this morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, I want to come back briefly and more, I guess, articulate or more explain one of the messages that I had yesterday. I guess to some, I wasn't clear enough. I guess it was enough time. A lot of times when I do videos, I have a certain window, and I try to speak or explain, express, articulate what God had put in my heart within a certain period of time. And I apologize that some I wasn't able to. I'm totally clearly get you to see what I was saying, what God is saying. Basically, to react and to respond, to react and to respond. James 1:9 says, wherefore let us be swift to hear and slow to speak. The difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction, and I wasn't totally clear. If I could give an example of a reaction is like if you go to the doctor and they're trying to hit your funny bone, and when they hit your funny bone, your leg or your foot is going to automatically kick. There's an automatic response. So there was no thought, there was no delay. There was an instant reaction, and a reaction. And so it's something that happened instinctively. And I want to give an example. Say, for example, if someone hits you, just naturally, so you're going to get angry, you're going to hit them back. But when someone hits you, or when someone does something to you, the Bible says, when your brother smite you across the cheek, the Bible says to give them the other cheek. They ask for you to go a mile, go another mile. And so those are the Beatitudes. Basically, what God is saying is to think. Temperament. You got the verses. You got a person who's temperamental versus someone who shows self-control. Basically, that's why the Bible also say, be angry, but sin not. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. There's life and death in the power of the tongue, but in it, love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So it's a matter of reaction and responding. It's a matter of reacting is to automatically go back or hit back at the thing that hit you. That's the reaction. But to respond when someone does something to you, you don't respond right away. You don't move right away. See, sometimes in reaction can be a control, because see what the devil does, he speaks to our mind. He shows us things in our five senses where it feels like we're defeated, and like the vision or the promises of God not gonna come to pass, and so we're reacting to everything we see. Just like when Moses sent those 12 spies over to spy the land of Canaan. Before they went over there, 10 came back. They reacted from fear. They saw the giants. They felt that they wasn't afraid. They were inferior. We can't do this. But there was 2 that came back with a good report of response. They responded. In other words, they thought about it. They prayed about it. They knew God. They didn't react to what they felt. They didn't react to what they feel, but they responded when they were ready. So in other words, the difference between a response and a react is that you just like a puppet. Every time somebody says something that you don't like, you just jumping. You just upset. Like even some of you in the past, when you think about certain people, you just get upset, get angry, you want to fight, stuff like that. That's a reaction. But the response is, yeah, I know they did me wrong. I know they said this, they did this, but I'm not going to react to what they done to me, but I'm going to respond when I get ready. I'm going to respond when God gives me the instructions on how to respond. See, also with responding is also when God is speaking to you and you're thinking about the process. The Bible says, in all your ways acknowledge him and he would direct your path. And so the response is the acknowledgement. The response is thinking about, what should I say? What should I do? The reaction is, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to get you just like you get me. But the response is, no, I'm going to turn the other cheek. The response is, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to show love. I'm going to try to win you. I'm not going to go eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. I'm not going to do to you what you done to me. But I'm going to do something different. Just like in a marriage. In a marriage, the difference between a reaction and response. And the reaction is like you keep bumping heads. You keep, it's like a cycle. You say one thing, she say one thing. You're going around the circle. But the response is when someone uses their heart and think and love, instead of being angry from their mind, love from their heart. Because when you love from your heart, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about the situation. You're thinking about the person. You're thinking about how they feel. You're thinking about, okay, if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, that's going to happen. You're thinking. So basically, God wants us to think on these things, things that are lovely, things that are pure, things that are good report. He wants us to think on Him. And if we're thinking on Him, when something comes at you, don't just respond back. When someone says something about you, don't just get all upset, oh, they're talking about me. No. Think. Stop and think. Think what the Bible says. They talk about Jesus. When you suffer, it's called a fellowship of your suffering. Fellowship of suffering. You're being knitted closer to Him. So think about certain things. Don't just when you feel something, you just respond to what you feel. See, that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants you to identify with what you see. But we don't identify what we see. We identify what we know, what God has said. So we're not going to be a puppet master. So in other words, God don't want you to be a puppet master from the devil. See, the devil want to make you a puppet. He want to, every string he pulled, he wants you to jump. You want to jump. No, you got to do that. Be intentional when you respond. Don't just react. Just do whatever, say whatever. No, think about it. Be thoughtful, be mindful. And then when you do speak, when you do say something, have something to say. Have something to say with thought. Have something to say with wisdom. It's just like this right here. An example I'm now after this right here. You take a person who cooks. A person who cooks fast, a meal that's fast. If you're cooking it on high, like a steak, if you're cooking it on high, chances are it's not going to cook all through it, because it's too high. But if you turn it down, if you turn it down and let it cook for a little while, don't rush it, give it a little while, then eventually that heat and that pressure and all of that is going to cook not just what's on the outside, but it's going to cook what's on the inside, because that person who's cooking it took their time and did what was properly right. And once they did what was properly right, the proper result and the proper aroma or taste came from that food or that steak that they made. So I hope this was a better way of explaining reaction and responding. To react is to just react. When something touches you, touch it back. When something hits you, you hit them back. When somebody do something, you do it back. But to respond is when someone does something to you, don't respond immediately. Think about it. Let God lead you. Let Him guide your mouth. Let Him guide your anger. Let Him guide your ways. Let Him guide your actions. Then respond. I hope this makes sense. God bless you.